Assalamu alaikum. You are listening to the Professional Muslim Women Podcast, a place for working Muslim women to share their stories, struggles, triumphs, and lessons learned along the way in pursuit of their careers. Being a Muslim woman who wants to advance her career without compromising her faith or values can be challenging. We know these systems were never designed for us, but that doesn't mean we can't be strategic in thriving in them as we advance our careers. In this season of the podcast, we'll continue to bring you inspirational, trailblazing, successful, and fulfilled professional Muslim women to you. We'll be introducing a mentoring segment where we answer your burning career and life goals questions. We'll also be featuring the Taking Up Space course, the foundational career strategy course of our sponsor, the Defiance Academy. Tune in to the Professional Muslim Women Podcast with me, your host, Dr. Qali Hussain, trauma surgeon, wife, mom of 6, CEO, and keynote speaker for deep dives on all things career and life goals. Keep an ear out for the occasional surprise visits from our sister and friend of the show, Dr. Hani Ahmed, hospitalist, mom, and physician leader. On this podcast, we keep it brutally honest and tackle the taboo so you can be better prepared. Get ready to be inspired and learn how you can be strategic in forging your own path as well. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to the podcast. This is Ali. I hope your week is going well. So this episode is going to be dedicated to young Muslim women with loving and protective parents, aunties, uncles, well-meaning friends, and neighbors. So the title of this podcast is called Taking Control of Your Career and Life. And I think this is a very important topic for us to talk about for a couple of reasons. One is the fact that a lot of us Muslim women, right, regardless of what our ethnicity is, where we are, where we're from throughout the world, we are mostly in very communal cultures, right? We're very communal. The whole individualistic identity of being a Westerner isn't really relevant in Muslim communities. And so what comes with that is the fact that a lot of our decisions are not individual decisions, right? We get input from many, many places, including our parents, our close relatives, family, friends. And, we value these opinions because we are part of that community. So that's one reason. The other reason is the idea that feedback and that influence is not really something that we talk about. We don't discuss what to do with all that input, especially if it doesn't necessarily align with what it is that we want for ourselves, what we want for our careers and our personal life goals. And so these are two, things that I've noticed throughout my own career. And I continue to see from the questions of young Muslim women who are struggling with this, with being part of this community that is loving, caring, and sometimes a little overprotective, right? And valuing that, but at the same time, wanting something that's a little different from what's normal and accepted. And so this topic came to me when I saw a post on Twitter some time ago where a student was asking for advice in convincing her African parents in supporting a decision she made. And as you can guess, most of the opinions who came from those that are from the West, Europeans and Americans, centered on the idea of ignore your parents, it's your life, right? Because that is the individualistic approach to how you deal with your family, how you deal with family and friends is that, they don't matter. Their opinions don't matter. It's you. It's your life. Live it. But you don't talk like that to an African parent. You do not, ignore or disrespect an African parent or Muslim parent. The relationships we have are a little different. I remember my grandmother was in her 80s. Her children were in their 60s, 50s, 60s, and she would still put them in their place. And they knew it and they respected her. And so how do you stand up for yourself and advocate for yourself in a community like this? And one of the things that I've experienced is that unless we bring up these conversations and force these conversations in a loving way, things are not going to change much. And so the usual responses are extremes, right? There's a conflict. We disagree with our family. As young people, we disagree with our family. And what happens? We cut off ties, we pursue our own thing and lose that familial connection. Or we say, you know what? It's not worth it for me to fight you on this. And therefore, people give up on their goals to fall in line. And so those are the two different extremes. Is there a middle ground? Is there a way for us to have that conversation in a loving way? I'll give you an example. When I was going to medical school, I applied within the state my parents lived in because I didn't want to move that far away. But the school that I got accepted to was an hour and a half from my parents' home. And they were insistent. They were absolutely insistent on the fact that I had to continue to live at home and for me to drive through traffic 3 hours each way, like 6 hours on the road in order for me to go to medical school. That's 6 hours I could be studying, right? And the risk. And so it took an ultimatum for me to say, you know what, I either go to medical school or I don't. But whatever happens, I need to be safe. This is impossible for me. And these are questions that I often get. I have parents bring their daughters to me and say, hey, motivate her, encourage her, mentor her to accomplish her goals and get married and have kids. And I talk to the daughters, right? These are usually teenagers in high school about to start college. And they're having the same issues that I was. And they're saying, I have all the motivation in the world, right? It's not a shortage of motivation. We have a lot of young women who are very motivated, very smart, hardworking. That's not a problem. But they say, these are all the things that I want to do, but I'm being limited in how I can do it. I'm being limited in how I can do these things. So I usually do talks in Somali communities, and I've done this a few times. And the conversations sometimes get a little heated, but it's a really, really important conversation that we need to have. And the way I describe it is we want our young women to climb a ladder, right? And go as high as they possibly can. But we're at the bottom of that ladder holding them by the ankle. And we say, yeah, keep going. You can go as high as you can. But at the same time, we're holding them down. So when I have these conversations with these young women, I say, okay, then I move on to having a conversation with parents and say, okay, you know what? She's doing her part. She's doing all she can. But what are you doing to make it easier for her? I understand the being overprotective. I understand wanting for her to be near you and with you at all times, and the loss of control when she leaves the home or she pursues an opportunity that you may not have faith in. But what about faith in Allah? Every day we get out of the house, it's risky. Every day that we leave our homes and go to school and go to work, and it's a risk that we're willing to take. But we have faith in Allah, that Allah will protect us, that Allah will protect our children. So we need to start having these conversations. And I'm reaching out to the parents as well, mamas, fathers, aunties, uncles. How can we be more supportive? Because lack of motivation isn't it. We have so many young people who are motivated, who are excited, who are hardworking. But why are we holding them by the ankle as they try to climb? Like, how can we make things easier for them? And so I know I said at the beginning that this episode is dedicated to the young Muslim women out there, but I also want to send a message to all the moms, all the dads, all the grandparents, all the aunties and uncles, and all the family friends. You are very much an important part of this journey. Every journey that a professional Muslim woman takes, we are a communal people. And that's one of the things that I want to encourage us to continue to embrace because it's our strength. I wouldn't be able to have 6 kids if I wasn't part of a communal community. If I wasn't Somali and if I wasn't Muslim and if I didn't have all the support in the world, I wouldn't have accomplished anything. But the fact that my family and my community came together to support me is one of our biggest strengths. So how do we embrace that? Right? Today, I'm sending questions out to you guys. How can we make things better for our young women who are aspiring to break stereotypes? How can we make life easier for them? How can we make their journey easier? How can we be part of that phenomenon where we're defiant in what's expected? So let's open this conversation. Let's figure out how we can continue to be supportive of our ambitious young women. How can we make the journey so much easier? Because, as soon as you send them out into that world, into those institutions, they have other battles to fight. But how can we make things easier for them at home and in our communities? So, with that, I will leave you guys to please continue this conversation. Please leave comments in the reviews and what you think of this. I would really, really love to hear it, because I feel like when we can have these conversations, when we can have these discussions, the sky is the limit in what we can accomplish. The sky is the absolute limit in what we can accomplish, because we can have these tough discussions and we can find ways to make what seems difficult, really easy. Okay. I really, really want to hear from you guys. So come to the Professional Muslim Women Podcast Facebook group and talk about this, because I feel like this is one of those low hanging fruits that if we just acknowledge that, yes, we know we're fearful, we know we're protective, but we can have faith. We can have faith in Allah and be supportive and let them take the risk of accomplishing their goals. So with that, I will leave you guys to it. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you for tuning into the Professional Muslim Woman Podcast. If this discussion resonated with you and you found it helpful, drop a like and a review and come say hi in our Professional Muslim Woman Podcast Facebook group or your favorite social media platform. I love hearing from our listeners. And don't forget to submit your burning career and life questions or topics you'd like us to discuss next at the link below. Talk to you soon. Salam. Thank you for tuning in to the Professional Muslim Women Podcast, the place for Muslim women to inspire and be inspired. Please join us on our Facebook group, Professional Muslim Women Podcast, to continue the conversation and connect with Muslim women like you. Thank you to our sponsor, Defiance Academy, and the Taking Up Space course. Be sure to check out the course at the link below. If you have any burning career and life goals questions, or you'd like to suggest topics for us to cover, submit them to the Mentoring Moments segment at the link below. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and drop us a like and a review. We'd love to hear from you. As always, may Allah guide us all on this journey. Stay blessed. Wa alaikum salam.